They're on sale right now at Dan Borton's video stand. Also, thanks to Maroney Cycle Shop at a new... Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Sit back, hold on tight, and let's go racing. Orange County style as the first qualifying event for the small block modifieds. Come out to the Speedway right now. And the 17 of Ralph Hetzler. Row number 5 on the inside, the 55 car, Rich Ricky Jr. And the 73 of Johnny Marsh. That's how they're set to go. The first of 4 small block modified qualifying events. 8 laps, 5 cars will qualify. As the Fulton Chevrolet pace car drops down to the inside, looking for that first green flag of the evening. Here they come out of turn number 4. Starter Kenny Rush got the green flag up, and here we go. Gary Huber looks to the outside. Tommy Hall down low, and Hall grabs the number 1 spot, motoring out of turn number 2. Look out on the outside, Ralph Hetzler, the Montgomery collision car, trapping sides down with Mike DePalma, and DePalma got problems. Yellow light's going to come on as Mike DePalma comes down in the turn 3 area, and you can see the tire coming off of the Teplitz Auto wrecking car. The yellow light's on around the Speedway right now, the first qualifying event for the small block modifieds. And the top break for about the infield lap counter tonight is not working. The infield lap counter not working thanks to Hurricane Bob this past week. But you want to pay attention to the lap counter down there in turn number 1. Meanwhile, the Fulton Chevrolet pace car moves back to the inside. Caution lights get turned out. Tommy Hall on the inside. Gary Huber on the outside. Here we come. On a turn number 4, the green lights come on, and we go back to racing. Gary Huber working on the outside. The Magnum Fabrications 357 car grabs the number 1 spot. Tommy Hall down to the inside for spot number 2. The battle is on for spot number 3. Motoring down the back chute, it's Ralph Hetzler on the inside. Here comes Robbie Green, the TNT Ignitions number 68 car. Green comes up to play right now for spot number 4. And Rich Ricky on the inside, taking over the final qualifying position. Ricky, the Fall Fittings 55 car, back there in the hot seat right now. 5 cars qualify. Joe Barbagallo, the Cedar Ridge car, 1 spot from qualifying as they motor down the back straightaway. Keep your eyes on Ralph Hetzler, the Montgomery Collision 17 car, back there in spot number 3. That spot now being challenged by Robbie Green, the TNT car, back there in spot number 4. Gary Huber brings him down the home straightaway right now, the number 1 spot, the Magnum Fabrication 357 car. Tommy Hall right back there at the Precision Alignment number 4 car. 3 cars looking for spot number 3. Coming up on the halfway point this time, Rich Ricky Jr., the 55 car, grabs the number 3 spot. Ralph Hetzler now back to spot number 4. Robbie Green sitting on the hot seat, back there in spot number 5. Here we come, 4 laps down, 4 to go this time for Gary Huber. Huber comes down the home straightaway, sets himself up for turns number 1 and 2. Tommy Hall drops down to the inside in spot number 2. Rich Ricky Jr. garnering up the horsepower on the inside, going down the back straightaway. Ricky closing in very quickly back there in the 3rd spot. Ralph Hetzler still 4th. Robbie Green back there in spot number 5. Coming out of turn number 4 this time, Gary Huber pours it on down the home straightaway, but the battle now developing for spot number 2. Tommy Hall on the inside, Rich Ricky Jr. on the outside. Ricky takes the high road down there in turns number 1 and 2 in the Fall Fittings 55 car. Ricky building it up down the back straightaway, drops down to the inside. Ricky grabbing the number 2 spot. Tommy Hall now back to spot number 3. Coming up on 2 laps to go this time around. 6 down, 2 to go for race leader Gary Huber as we come down the home straightaway. Rich Ricky Jr. back there in spot number 2. Tommy Hall now 3rd. Ralph Hetzler back there in spot number 4. Robbie Green back there in spot number 5 with the TNT Ignitions number 68 car. Down the back straightaway, watch out for Rich Ricky Jr. The battle is on for the number 1 spot. Gary Huber working on the outside groove, and the lap traffic now becoming a factor for this race. Here it comes. White flag comes out. 1 more time to go. Last lap racing action as Rich Ricky goes down to the inside. Side by side, wheel to wheel on a turn number 2. Huber up on the rim shot. Down the back straightaway. Holds on to the number 1 spot. Huber keeps it working up on the high side. Rich Ricky Jr. knows the only way past right now is on the inside groove. Checkered flag flying. It's going to be a close one. The flag race to the checkered flag. And it's all Rich Ricky Jr. Gary Huber is 2nd. Tommy Hall 3rd. Robbie Green is 4th, followed by Ralph Hetzler. In car number 15, Pat Van Varick. Row number 2, the 7M of Chris Tuthill and the 94 Joe Sarvis. Row number 3, the 25 of Howie Fitch and the 717 of Everett Halbrick. Row number 4, the 17 junior Bobby Hayes and the number 9 car Freddie Newkirk. Row number 5, the 156 of Ed Zachary and the number 6 car Brett Hearn. That's how they're set to go racing right now for the second qualifying event for the small block modifieds. 8 laps, 5 cars qualify. And the Fulton Chevrolet pace car heads down to the inside. Caution lights get turned out. We're set for some green flag racing. Tom Foley, the International Motor Plaza's 26 car, comes down the home straightaway. Green flag flies, and here we go. Joe Sarvis in the Dini Engineering car. Look out for Freddie Newkirk up on the outside down here, losing grip on things. Down the back straightaway, but that may bring out the yellow right now. Yellow lights do come on as Freddie Newkirk in the Fred Electric number 9 car having problems right off the start of this heat event. He comes to a rest down there on the outside of turns 1 and 2. And race leader, Tom Foley on the outside in spot number 2. Fulton Chevrolet pace car going to swing down to the inside. We're set to go back to racing. Sarvis on the inside, Foley on the outside. Here we come out of turn number 4 this time. Starter Kenny Marshall got the green flag back in the air, and we go back to racing. Joe Sarvis holds on to the number 1 spot, and Tom Foley working on the outside line with the International Motor Plaza's car. The battle is on for spot number 3. Chris Tuthill on the outside. Everett Halbrick back there in spot number 4. Howie Finch, the Countryside Oil car, back in spot number 5. But here comes Brett Hearn on the inside. Hearn, the Freightliner, trucks a Newberg number 6, got the inside all to his own. Coming down the home straightaway, the battle is on for the number 5 spot right now, the final transfer position. Brett Hearn slingshots down to the inside, picks up 2 spots, coming out of turn number 2, but the battle now is taking shape for turn number 3 as Joe Sarvis and Tom Foley dice it out down in turns number 3 and 4. Foley drops down to the inside, coming out of turn number 4. Here comes Brett Hearn right behind in spot number 3. Sarvis holds off the hard-charging Tom Foley. Brett Hearn now sees the bottom side open. Nose and tail out of turn number 2. They motored his time. Joe Sarvis holds on to the lead. Tom Foley back there in second. Brett Hearn is third. Chris Tuthill fourth. And Howie Finch back there in spot number 5. Coming up on the halfway point this time. 4 laps down, 4 to go. Here comes Brett Hearn on the inside, challenging for spot number 2. Hearn's at the inside, all to himself right now, and Tom Foley on the outside. Wheel to wheel, the bottom side still open for Brett Hearn as he moves up along the inside. A race leader, Joe Sarvis. Down the back straightaway, slingshot, bonsai. Brett Hearn grabs the number 1 spot. Hearn, now your new race leader, Joe Sarvis. Back there in spot number 2, Tom Foley is third. Chris Tuthill back in spot number 4, followed by Howie Finch, the Countryside Oil car. Hearn stretching out the number 1 spot, motoring down in turns 1 and 2. Tom Foley wraps up that second spot. Joe Sarvis is third. Here comes Chris Tuthill on the outside in spot number 4. Howie Finch holds on to that final qualifying position. We come up on the 2 to go sign this time. The Freightliner Express. Brett Hearn out of Vernon, New Jersey, comes on to turn number 4 this time. Hearn, very well done. Down the home straightaway as he stretches out the number 1 spot. Tom Foley still second. Chris Tuthill is third. Joe Sarvis back there in spot number 4. Here comes Howie Finch on the inside, back in spot number 5. Looking for the white flag this time around. Brett Hearn rim rides out of turn number 4. The white flag comes out one more time around for Brett Hearn, and Howie Finch grabs spot number 4 away from Joe Sarvis. Tom Foley second. Chris Tuthill is third. Howie Finch back there in spot number 4. Joe Sarvis rounds out the top 5 running order. Checkered flag going to fly this time. The winner of heat number 2 for the small block modifieds, coming out of turn number 4 right now, the Freightliner trucks a Newberg number 6, Brett Hearn. Second spot, Tom Foley. Third spot, a close one for Chris Tuthill. Side, the 44L, Gary Lusher, and the HB2 of Jimmy Hauser. Row number 3, the 673, Ray Tewitt, and the 66 of Eli Zablud. Back in row number 5, the 53 car, Stevie Botcher, and the 87 of Mike Rickey. That's it. They're set to go racing. Right flag action this time, but they motor down on a turn number 4. The green flag goes, and here we go. Johnny Beisel, the Beisel's Garage car from Lacka-Wixon, Pennsylvania, grabs the number 1 spot going down the back straightaway. Chris Whitehead on the outside of Scott Dickey for spot number 2. Whitehead, the Vernon Pool and Spa 244 car, now grabs the runner-up spot. Scott Dickey, the Rice Racing 43 machine, back there in spot number 3. Jimmy Hauser in the HB2 car on the outside for turn number 2 right now for that 4th spot. But here comes Billy Eggers on the inside. Eggers in the Pat Parrott Transmissions 72 car, back there in spot number 5. Johnny Beisel, the Beisel's Garage Car, holds on to the lead. Chris Whitehead still back there in spot number 2. Scott Dickey goes to the outside. Here comes Hauser on the inside. Jimmy Hauser switches lanes coming down the home straightaway, grabbing the number 3 spot. Pat Barrett, very strong on the inside for spot number 4, and Ray Tuitt now coming up for a qualifying position. Tuitt, the J. Baum Trucking 673 car, back there in the number 5 spot. Meanwhile, Johnny Beisel holding off the charging 244 car, Chris Whitehead. Whitehead drops down to the inside. The battle is on right now, coming out of turn number 4 as Chris Whitehead grabs the number 1 spot. Johnny Beisel now back there in spot number 2. Third spot, it's Jimmy Hauser. Fourth, Ray Tuitt. Stevie Botcher working on the inside, but look out for Billy Eggers down in turn number 2. The yellow restart right now as the Fulton Chevrolet pace car drops back down to the inside. Chris Whitehead, the Vernon Pool and Spa 244 car, your current race leader. Here we come on a turn number 4 this time. Green flag flies, hammers go down. We go back to racing. Whitehead once again securing the number 1 spot. Jimmy Hauser working on the outside of Johnny Beisel. Here comes Mike Rickey on the outside. Rickey, the Duchess overhead door number 87 car. Slingshots on the outside up to a qualifying position. Jimmy Hauser working well on the inside of Johnny Beisel for the number 2 spot. Beisel holds on to the 2nd spot. Here comes Mike Rickey on the inside, and Rickey finds the bottom door open. Mike Rickey, the Duchess overhead door is number 87 car. The inside line, the fast line around the Orange County Speedway tonight. Rickey picks up the number 2 spot. Johnny Beisel 3rd, Ray Tuitt 4th, and Stevie Botcher on the outside of Jimmy Hauser for spot number 5. Coming up on 2 laps to go, 2 to go this time around. Chris Whitehead comes down the home straightaway, holds on to the number 1 spot. Mike Rickey is 2nd, Johnny Beisel 3rd, Ray Tuitt back there in spot number 4. And Stevie Botcher, the RJL Express number 53 car. Botcher finds the horsepower on the outside as he grabs the number 4 spot. Botcher moves up to spot number 4 this time. White flag coming out. 1 more lap to go in the battle back there for spot number 4 between Stevie Botcher, Johnny Beisel, and Ray Tuitt. Coming down the home straightaway right now. Whitehead goes to the outside and slams that first turn off. Yellow lights coming on around the start. The Fulton Chevrolet pace car gets set to swing back to the inside this time. Race leader right now, Mike Rickey in car number 87. Stevie Botcher is 2nd. Johnny Beisel 3rd. Ray Tuitt back there in spot number 4. Jimmy Hauser rounds out the qualifying picture right now on the Hauser Brothers HB2 car. Getting set to go back to racing this time. Here we come on a turn number 4. Green flag coming back out. Hammers go down for 1 more time around the Orange County Speedway. Mike Rickey, like a bullet down there in turn number 2. Stevie Botcher 2nd. Johnny Beisel grabs spot number 3. Ray Tuitt 4th, and Jimmy Hauser back there in spot number 5. Checkered flag coming out this time. Here we come on a turn number 4 this time. The winner of the 3rd small block qualifying event, the 87 Mike Rickey. 2nd spot Stevie Botcher. 3rd Johnny Beisel. 4th Ray Tuitt, followed by Jimmy Hauser. And the 24K of Kirk Van Duzer back there in row number 5. In car number 25, that's Bud Chrisman. That's how they're set to go racing right now for the 4th qualifying event for the small block modifieds. Fulton Chevrolet pace car moves back to the inside. Tommy Kronk now takes over the pacing duties. Jimmy Johnson on the outside. Here we come on a turn number 4. Green flag comes out. Hammers go down, and we go racing. Johnson grabs the number 1 spot. Sean George drops down to the inside. The S&S Custom Homes number 15 car. Motoring down the back straightaway this time. Kirk Van Duzer 3rd. Here comes the pit stop. Bar and Grill 22 car. Steve Dodd on the outside for spot number 4. Dodd slingshots down to the inside against Kirk Van Duzer for spot number 3. Jimmy Johnson brings him down the home straightaway. Sean George is 2nd. Steve Dodd 3rd. Kirk Van Duzer back there in spot number 4. And Bobby Kronk back in spot number 5. Kronk now feeling the challenge from the RCR Excavating. Number 8 car, Tom Perego. Right behind him, the Reclamation 14J car, Jackie Brown Jr. Here we come on a turn number 4 this time. The 77 Jimmy Johnson brings him down the home straightaway. Sean George still running back there in spot number 2. Steve Todd is 3rd. Johnson feeling the heat from Sean George. George rim rides out of turn number 2. George gets up on the high side. Craig racing down the back straightaway for the number 1 spot. Sean George takes over the number 1 spot, heading down in turns number 3 and 4. The 15 car from Palmerton, Pennsylvania, brought to us by S&S Custom Homes. Sean George holds on to the number 1 spot. Jimmy Johnson is second. Steve Dodd looking on the outside for spot number 3. Kurt Van Duzer back there in spot number 4, followed down by Tom Perego, the RCR number 8 car. Coming up on the halfway point, halfway this time around. Here we come out of turn number 4, race leader, the 15-car, Sean George. Second spot, Jimmy Johnson. Third, Steve Dodd. Fourth, it's Kurt Van Duzer, followed by Tom Perego. Back there in spot number 5. Remember, only 5 cars qualify. Steve Dodd looks to the outside. The Rao Plumbing Supply, Pit Stop, Bar and Grill, Chester Hardware, 22 car. Dodd back there in the 3rd spot. He looks down to the inside on Jimmy Johnson. Coming out of turn number 4 this time. Leader Sean George all by his lonesome. Down the home straightaway. 2nd spot, it's still the 77 of Jimmy Johnson. 3rd, Steve Dodd, followed by Kurt Van Duzer and Tom Perego. Dodd goes to the outside this time. Time running out for Steve Dodd as he tries to make the outside maneuver for spot number 2 right now. Johnson on the inside, Dodd on the outside. Spot number 2 going up for grabs. Steve Dodd running hard down in turns number 3 and 4 right now. The Pit Stop Bar and Grill 22 car. Coming up on just 2 more laps to go. 2 more to go this time in the battle right now. Going on for that 2nd spot. Johnson on the inside, Dodd on the outside. Down the back straightaway, they motor. Sean George holds on to the lead. Johnson still second. White flag coming out this time. 7 laps down and 1 to go for race leader Sean George. Jimmy Johnson still second. Steve Dodd is third. Kurt Van Duzer back there in spot number 4. Tommy Perego wraps up the qualifying field right now in spot number 5. Last lap action down the back straightaway. Watch Jimmy Johnson and Steve Dodd go out for spot number 2. Checkered flag coming out this time, the black and white in hand. Coming down in turns number 3 and 4. The winner, the number 15 car, Sean George. 2nd spot going to be a close one for Jimmy Johnson. 3rd, Steve Dodd. 4th, Kurt Van Duzer. And 5th, it's Tom Perego. On the inside, the Romeo Automotive, number 44 car, Tobias Jr. Alongside Tobias in car number 30, Scott Goodrich. Row number 4, the 28, Rich Ricky Jr. And the number 1, Sammy Rogers. Row number 5, the 72, Frank Cozy. And the 37, Johnny Tucker. That's how they're set to go right now for the first of 4 big block modified heats. And the Fulton Chevrolet Pace car drops down to the inside. Remember, the winner of each of these 4 events gets his starting spot in the Pat Barrett Big Block Modified Dash for Cash out here tonight. Here we come. Down the home straightaway. The green lights come on. Frank Jazombowski, the Hollywood Express car, grabs the number 1 spot. But we
think there'll be another fight tonight?
Outside with the Budget Beverages number 88 car. Caution lights have now been turned out. Fulton Chevrolet Pace car back to the inside. Remember, the heat winners get that starting spot in tonight's Big Block Modified Dash for Cash, brought to us by Pat Barrett Transmissions. Here we come out of turn number 4 this time. The Green Machine, your pole sitter, and the Hollywood Express 88 car on the outside. Frank Jazombowski, the green lights come on, the hammers go down, and we go back to racing. Frank Jazombowski grabs the number 1 spot. Robbie Green is second. Here comes Art Brels on the outside of Carl Pittenger for spot number 3. Remember, 5 cars qualify. Carl Pittenger looks down to the inside, the Circle K car. Tobias Jr., the Romeo Racing, number 44 machine, back there in spot number 5. He feels the heat from Sammy Rogers right now. Coming down the home straightaway. Tobias grabs the number 4 spot. Art Brels back there to spot number 5. Sammy Rogers slingshots down to the inside. The door gets closed on Frank Cozy. Tried to make it 3 abreast. Sammy Rogers now on the inside of Tobias Jr. for that number 4 spot. Race leader Frank Jazombowski coming out of turn number 4 this time. The battle is on for spot number 2 between Kyle Pittenger and Robbie Green. Pittenger grabs the runner of spot. Robbie Green 3rd. Sammy Rogers now 4th. But here comes Tobias rebounding back down to the inside. Tobias Jr., the Romeo Automotive 44 car, now going to feel the heat from Frank Cozy. Cozy coming up to the tail side. The Kneisel Speed and Sport 72 car trying to grab a qualifying position. Here we come, down the home straightaway. Frank Jazombowski switching on the number 1 spot. Carl Pittenger is second. Robbie Green now 3rd. Sammy Rogers back there in spot number 4, and the battle is on for spot number 5 between Tobias Jr. and Frank Cozy. Tobias holds on to that final qualifying position. Remember, 5 cars qualify. The halfway point coming out this time. 4 laps down and 4 to go for the first of 4 Big Block Modified heats. Frank Jazombowski, Frankie J. holds on to the lead right now. Pittenger second. Rogers comes on to the inside of Robbie Green for spot number 3. Cozy gets by Tobias for spot number 5. Here we go, down the back straightaway. Robbie Green holds on to the 3rd spot. Sammy Rogers 4th. Cozy up to the outside, very strong in turns number 3 and 4. Frank Cozy out of wind gap, Pennsylvania, not backing out of it, coming out of turn number 4 this time. Watch Cozy back there in the number 5 spot. Does not know just how close Tobias may be, and he's going to do all he can to hold on to a qualifying position. Coming up on 2 laps to go, 2 to go this time around for race leader Frank Jezembowski, the Budget Beverages number 88 car. 2nd spot, still the Circle K of Carl Pittenger. 3rd, the number 1 car, now Sammy Rogers. 4th, Robbie Green, and back there in spot number 5, the 72 Frank Cozy. Here comes Tobias on the backside. Tobias reeling in. 5th spot runner Frank Cozy as he tries to grab a qualifying position in his first heat event. Coming up on 1 lap to go this time around, the white flag comes out. Watch the battling going on back there for that final transfer position. Frank Cozy holds on to it. Tobias knows that time is now running out. 4 more left turns to get ourselves the checkered flag out here this evening. Cozy goes down to the inside of Robbie Green, and Tobias knows that this is the lap that's got to do or die. The number 5 spot going up for grabs, and watch Tobias down the back straightaway. Checkered flag coming out this time. The winner down there in turn number 4, the 88 car, Frank Jezembowski. 2nd spot, it's Carl Pittenger. 3rd place, Sammy Rogers. 4th, Robbie Green. Followed by Frank Cozy. Well, there you have it, the winner for the M6 of Marty Dahl and the number 6 of Brett Hearn. Row number 5, the 151, Gary Napolitano, and the 056 of James Penny. They're set to go racing right now for the 2nd Big Block Modified qualifying event. Remember, 8 laps, 5 cars qualify. Set to go looking for that green flag this time. The Fulton Chevrolet pace car drops down to the inside. Hallie Finch in the 25 car brings him down out of turn number 4 this time. Green flag comes out. Finch grabs the number 1 spot right off the bat. Chuck McKee working on the outside. McKee grabbing the lead down the back straightaway. Chuck McKee in the Gross Racing 702 machine. Now your new race leader, Hallie Finch, is 2nd. Dwayne Howard out of Ole, Pennsylvania. Back there in spot number 3. Ralph Hetzler, the Pat Howard Racing Transmissions number 72 car. Back there in spot number 4. Joey Higbee back in spot number 5, but the freight trainer rolling on the inside. Here comes Brett Hearn and Richie York on the outside. Watch spot number 5 right now. That's where the action taking place as Joey Higbee goes to the outside. Brett Hearn comes down to the inside. 2nd place also going up for grabs. Dwayne Howard slingshots down to the low side against Hallie Finch. Howard grabs the 2nd spot. Finch now back in 3rd. Ralph Hetzler 4th. Brett Hearn back in spot number 5. Race leader Chuck McKee motoring down the back straightaway. McKee stretching out the number 1 spot. Dwayne Howard still 2nd. Hallie Finch is 3rd. Ralph Hetzler back there in spot number 4, but here comes Hearn on the inside. Hearn drops down to the low side. Brett Hearn looking for spot number 4 right now against Ralph Hetzler. Hetzler, the Pat Barrett car, back there in spot number 5. Dwayne Howard picks up the number 2 spot. Hallie Finch is 3rd. Hearn 4th. Hetzler back there in spot number 5. Chuck McKee holds on to the number 1 spot. McKee in the Gross Racing 702 car. Coming up to the halfway point this time. 4 laps down and 4 to go. McKee rimrides on a turn number 4. Howard trying to close the gap back there in the number 2 spot. 3rd place now one up for grabs as Hearn comes down to the inside line. Brett Hearn running the inside groove. Hallie Finch on the outside. Hearn picks up the 3rd spot. Finch now back to spot number 4. Watch the battle back there for spot number 5. On the inside, the 91 of Jerry Higbee on the outside. Car number 92, that's Ralph Hetzler. The 91-92 doing battle right now for spot number 5. Jerry Higbee grabbing the number 5 spot away from Ralph Hetzler. Hetzler rebounding on the outside this time. Chuck McKee, the lead, slowly coming to a close by Dwayne Howard back there in spot number 2. Brett Hearn still 3rd. Hallie Finch is 4th. Coming up on 2 laps to go this time. Dwayne Howard, the Toe Bash Sports Warehouse 14 car. He looks down to the inside against race leader Chuck McKee coming down the home straightaway. McKee knows it's time to go racing right now as Howard puts on the challenge for the number 1 spot. Brett Hearn back there in 3rd spot. Hallie Finch is 4th. Jerry Higbee back there in spot number 5. Chuck McKee looking for the white flag this time. 7 laps down and 1 to go for the Rouse Racing number 702 car. Chuck McKee holds on to it. Dwayne Howard is 2nd. second. Brett Hearn third. Henley Finch is fourth. Here comes Hearn on the outside line this time, coming out of turn number 2, and Hearn says it's no time right now to pick up one more spot. Hearn back there in the number 2 spot. Checkered flag going to come out this time. Chuck McKee on the outside, Hearn on the inside, the checkered flag coming out. The wind goes out to Chuck McKee. Second spot, Brett Hearn. Third, Dwayne Howard. Fourth place, Kelly Finch, followed by Jerry Higbee. Of Chris Tuthill and the 703 of Bobby Decker. Row number 3, starting on the inside. Spot number 5, the 22 of Stan Sherman. Alongside Stan in car number 7, Billy Wilson. Row number 4 on the inside, spot number 7, the 8 car, Mike Rickey. Alongside Mike in car number 27, scheduled to go, that's Stevie Botcher. Then back in row number 5, HB1 of Jimmy Hauser, and car number 89, Kenny Wismer. Well, we see Stevie Botcher not answering the call, was on the grid here for the start of this event. Meanwhile, the Fulton Chevrolet pace car drops down to the inside, set for the go right now on heat number 3. Dirk Adrians out of Bridgewater, New Jersey, the 44A car. He's your pole sitter coming out of turn number 4. Starter Kenny Marshall looking for the green flag, and we go racing. Adrians grabs the number 1 spot. Hager working well on the outside. Hager, car number 43 from Easton, Pennsylvania, looks down to the inside, going down the back straightaway. Chris Tuthill second. Bobby Decker back there on the outside for spot number 3. Here comes Hager on the inside of Adrians. Hager on the inside. Car number 43 coming out of turn number 4 this time. Grabs the number 1 spot. Tommy Hager out of Easton, Pennsylvania, the 43 car, grabbing the number 1 spot down in turn number 2. Chris Tuthill gets by Adrians for spot number 2. Adrians running back in third. Bobby Decker now 4th, and Billy Wilson back there in spot number 5. Wilson in the Wilson's Auto and Truck number 7 machine, back there in the hot seat. Only 5 cars qualify. Stan Sherman puts on the battle right now for the number 5 spot, motoring down the home straightaway. Wilson gets by for spot number 3. Adrians and Decker side by side for spot number 4. Adrians on the outside, Decker on the inside. Here comes the Coors Light number 8 car. Mike Rickey back there in spot number 6. Rickey motoring well on the outside. He tries to make it 3 abreast down in turns number 3 and 4. Here comes your race leader, Tommy Hager, coming down the home straightaway. Chris Tuthill second, Billy Wilson third. Bobby Decker back there in spot number 4. And here comes Mike Rickey. He goes to the outside and taps that concrete real quick. Holds onto it, motoring down the back straightaway, dropping out of a qualifying spot as Kenny Wismer comes onto the inside. Coming up on the halfway point this time. 4 laps down and 4 to go for this third qualifying event for the Big Block Modifieds. Tommy Hager out of Easton, Pennsylvania, holds on to the lead now. Chris Tuthill, the JC Dyno 7M car, tries to close in down low. Billy Wilson still back there in third spot. Bobby Decker 4th. Dirk Adrians putting up the fight for spot number 5 against Stan Sherman. Sherman in the Sherman Racing 22 car, back there in spot number 6. Hager knows that the heat is on. Chris Tuthill on the inside, Hager on the outside. Hager builds up the horsepower, rim rides down the back straightaway, holds on to the number 1 spot. Tuthill still second. Billy Wilson is third, looking for 2 laps to go this time around. Bobby Decker back there in spot number 4. Stan Sherman back in spot number 5. 2 to go, and Chris Tuthill comes on the inside. Tuthill puts up the fight on the inside against Tommy Hager, and Chris Tuthill now grabs the number 1 spot. Tuthill, a JC Dyno 7M car, motors down the back straightaway. Hager tries a rebound on the inside. Hager back there in the number 2 spot. Billy Wilson still third. Stan Sherman and Bobby Decker side by side for spot number 4. White flag comes out. 1 more lap to go for race leader Chris Tuthill. Tuthill holds on to the lead. Hager goes to the outside. Wilson tries to close in spot number 3. Sherman back there in the number 4 spot in the Coors Light number 8 car. Mike Rickey back there in spot number 5. Checkered flag coming out this time. The winner of heat number 3 for the Big Block Modifieds, the JC Dyno 7M, Chris Tuthill. Second spot, Tommy Hager. Third, Billy Wilson. Fourth, Stan Sherman, followed by Mike Rickey. Modifieds, the number 7M of Chris Tuthill. Second spot, Tom Hager. Third, Billy Wilson, followed by Stan Sherman. And alongside Bruce in car number 15, Sean George. Row number 2, third spot, the number 21 of Gary Edwards. Alongside Gary in the 71E, Carl Van Horn. Row number 3 on the inside, car number 74, Jeff Hetzler. Alongside Jeff in the 97, it's Rich Ricky Sr. Row number 4, the active 2, Jimmy Horton. Alongside Jimmy in car number 44, Bill Cherry. Followed back in row number 5 by the 942, Eddie Haynell, and the 00, Bobby Sullivan. Well, that's in their schedule to go right now for heat number 4, the big block modifieds. The Fulton Chevrolet pace car drops down to the inside, and we'll be looking for the green flag this time around. Pennsylvania takes the green flag coming down the home straightaway. Sean George on the outside grabs the number 1 spot. George looks for number 1 coming out of turn number 2 right now. Carl Fuzzy Van Horn, the runner-up rider, going down the back straightaway. Rich Ricky Sr. in the Mr. K's Carpet 97 car puts up the fight for spot number 3 against Bruce Klein. Klein holds on to the number 3 spot. The Van Horn Racing Engine 59 car. Gary Edwards back there in spot number 5 right now as Jeff Hetzler comes up to the outside. Hetzler, the Smith Brothers Concrete 74 car, comes up now for spot number 5. Hetzler back there in that final qualifying position. Edwards rebounding on the inside. Here comes Jimmy Horton, the active disposal, active 2 car. Coming down the home straightaway, the leader right now, the number 15 of Sean George, the S&S Custom Homes car. Carl Van Horn back there in spot number 2. Bruce Klein is 3rd. Rich Ricky on the inside. And Jeff Hetzler goes by Rich Ricky Sr. for spot number 4. Ricky back there in spot number 5. Jimmy Horton back in spot number 6. Only 5 cars qualified. Now motoring out of turn number 4. The leader of this event, the number 15 of Sean George. Carl Van Horn back there in spot number 2. Jeff Hetzler 3rd. Bruce Klein is 4th. And Rich Ricky Sr. back in spot number 5. Ricky out of New Paltz, New York in the Higbee Brothers Supreme Manufacturing car. Coming up on the halfway point this time. Look out for Jeff Hetzler on the outside. A Carl Van Horn as the number 2 spot goes up for grabs. Sean George holds on to the lead. The 4th power plant of Jeff Hetzler. Motors by Carl Van Horn for spot number 2. Van Horn now back to 3rd. Bruce Klein is 4th. Rich Ricky Sr. back there in spot number 5. Sean George got a nice charge to the lead right now over to that 2nd spot, runner of Jeff Hetzler. Hetzler rim rides down there in turn number 3 and 4 this time. Time running out for Hetzler to try and close in a race leader, Sean George. George holds on to the handle down there in turns number 1 and 2. The big block modified S&S car from Palmerton, Pennsylvania. Hetzler back there. Look out. Turn number 1 for the big block modified dash for cash out here tonight. 5 laps down. 5 down and 3 to go. A single file restart. The caution lights now get turned out. The Fulton Chevrolet pace car back down to the inside. Here we come. Out of turn number 4, Sean George, your current race leader. Hot Shoe back there in spot number 2. The 74 car, Jeff Hetzler. Green flag comes out. The hammers go down, and we go back to racing. Hetzler goes to the outside this time. Rim rides against Sean George for the number 1 spot. Here comes Jeff Hetzler grabbing the number 1 spot down the back straightaway. Jeff Hetzler puts that forward power plant out in front of the rest down there in turns number 3 and 4. 2 laps to go this time. 2 to go coming around for Jeff Hetzler. Sean George working well on the inside again against Jeff Hetzler. Carl Van Horn back there in that 3rd spot. Bruce Klein is 4th in the battle going on for spot number 5 between Bill Cherry and Rich Ricky Sr. Jeff Hetzler securing the number 1 spot, motoring down the back straightaway, looking for the white flag this time. Hetzler, the Smith Brothers Concrete Foundation 74 car, brings him out of turn number 4. The white flag comes out. 1 more lap to go. Sean George still 2nd. Carl Van Horn, the Belvedere Bandit, back there in spot number 3. Bruce Klein on the outside. Here comes Bill Cherry on the inside for spot number 4. Cherry, the Asphalt Pavements 44 car, working well against Bruce Klein for spot number 4. The checkered flag coming out this time. The winner of heat number 4 for the big block modified, car number 74, Jeff Hetzler. 2nd spot, Sean George. 3rd, Carl Van Horn. Followed by the 44, Bill Cherry, and the 97, Rich Ricky. Caution lights now being turned out. The Fulton Chevrolet pace car gets set to swing to the inside this time. 8 laps. Small block modified. Consolation Joe Barbagallo. The Cedar Ridge Trailer Sales number 4 car. Cedar Ridge Recreational Vehicles located down in Branchville, New Jersey. Barbagallo brings the 4 car out of turn number 4 this time. Green flag flies, and here we go. Barbagallo grabbing the number 1 spot. Halbrick is second. Jackie Brown Jr. on the outside of Eli Zablood for spot number 3 down the back straightaway. Zablood, the tender Tootsie 66 car, back there in spot number 4. Battling going on right now for the number 1 spot. Joe Barbagallo brings him out of turn number 4 this time. Here we come, motoring down the home straightaway. Barbagallo holds off the hard-charging Halbrick, back there in spot number 2. Jackie Brown Jr. in spot number 3. Halbrick slingshots to the inside. Barbagallo, something wrong, drops off the pace coming out of turn number 2. Something wrong with Joe Barbagallo. The car lost all the horsepower. Going down the back straightaway, picks it back up right now. But meanwhile, Everett Halbrick has grabbed the number 1 spot. Halbrick on a Lafayette, New Jersey, brings the Everett's Carpet Service 717 car down the home straightaway. Jackie Brown Jr. back there in spot number 2. Johnny Marsh is third. Eli Zablood up to the outside. He gets sideways. And we've got problems down there in turns 1 and 2 right now. The yellow lights come on. Caution lights on around the speedway for Eli Zablood and the tender Tootsies, number 66 car, down there between turns number 1 and 2. Caution comes out with 2 laps down, 2 down, and 6 to go in this consolation. Well, Bobby Kronk having problems with the left rear tire on that car, the right rear tire in turn number 1. Looking back for racing once again as the green flag comes out. Halbrick back to the number 1 spot. Jackie Brown Jr. on the outside this time. Johnny Marsh under the inside line. The battle is on for the number 1 spot as Halbrick takes him down the back straightaway. Jackie Brown Jr., the Reclamation, 14J car up on the outside for spot number 2. Bobby Hayes, the 17 Junior, back there for 3rd spot. Johnny Marsh is 4th right now. The 73 car brought to us by Painter Auto Body. Freddie Newkirk, the Fred Electric number 9 car, holds on to the final transfer spot, but here comes Ed Zachary on the inside. Gary Lusher back there as well in the 44L car. Carl Van Horn dropping off the pace, going down the back straightaway, coming up to the halfway point this time. Everett Halbrick in the Everett's Carpet Service 717 car holds on to the number 1 spot down the straightaway remoter. Jackie Brown Jr. is second, Bobby Hayes third. Johnny Marsh back there in spot number 4. Gary Lusher, the Hayes Cabs Friendly Service 44L car, back there in spot number 5. Lusher takes that 44L car down the back straightaway, the final transfer spot right now. Everett Halbrick holds on to the lead, stretching out the number 1 spot over Jackie Brown Jr. Johnny Marsh third, Bobby Hayes fourth. Gary Lusher back there in spot number 5, followed by the 156 of Ed Zachary. Lusher picks up spot number 4 right now against Bobby Hayes, going down the back straightaway. Coming up on 2 laps to go. 2 to go this time around for race leader Everett Halbrick. Halbrick, that Lafayette, New Jersey native, comes down the home straightaway. He stretches out the number 1 spot. Jackie Brown Jr., the Reclamation car, still back there in spot number 2. Reclamation Ram Roofing, the sponsor of Jackie Brown Jr. this year as they motor down the back straightaway. Johnny Marsh tries to close in back there in spot number 3. Gary Lusher is 4th. Ed Zachary back in spot number 5. Bobby Hayes back in spot number 6 as the white flag comes out. 7 laps down and 1 to go this time around for the small block consolation event. Everett Halbrick holds on to the lead right now. Jackie Brown Jr. feels the heat from Johnny Marsh motoring down the back straightaway. Gary Lusher back there in the number 4 spot. Zachary back in spot number 5, followed by Bobby Hayes in the 17 Junior. Checkered flag going to fly this time. Coming out of turn number 4, the winner of the small block consolation, Everett Halbrick. 2nd spot, it's Jackie Brown Jr. 3rd, Gary Lusher. 4th, Johnny Marsh, followed by Ed Zachary and Bobby Hayes. Freddie Newkirk in that Fred Electric car, getting sideways coming off of turn number 4 as the checkered flag crews helping out Freddie Newkirk down there, who lost a grip on things as they came out of turn number 4. Modified, Dash for Cash, now on the starting grid as the Fulton Chevrolet pace car takes him down the back straightaway. Pat Barrett Racing Automatics coming on board as the sponsor out here tonight. The Fulton Chevrolet Pace car drops down to the inside. Ready for the go right now. The big block modified dash for cash. Bobby Decker, your pole sitter. Here we come on a turn number 4 this time. Center Kenny Marshall looks him over the green flag flies, and here we go. Frank Chazambowski on the outside. The Budget Beverages 88 car, but here comes Bobby Decker. Decker grabs the number 1 spot, motoring down the back straightaway. Decker on the outside. Chazambowski nose and tail heading down for turns number 3 and 4. Chazambowski drops down to the inside. Jeff Hetzler back there in spot number 3. And Chris Tunnell back in spot number 4. But here we come down the home straightaway. And Jeff Hetzler finds the horsepower in that Ford power plant. Hetzler looks down to the inside. Decker up on the rim wide. Coming out of turn number 2 this time. Bobby Decker holds on to the lead. Jeff Hetzler right there in the shadow for spot number 2. Frank Chazambowski back there in that 3rd spot. Chris Tunnell is 4th. Down in turns number 3 and 4. Bobby Decker riding the rim shot coming out of turn number 4 this time. Jeff Hetzler down to the inside. The drag race is on. Hetzler puts up the horsepower. The Ford power plant looking alive on the inside against Bobby Decker. Decker hammered down the back straightaway right now. Decker holds on to the number 1 spot. Time running out very quickly for Jeff Hetzler. White flag going to fly this time. Bobby Decker and Jeff Hetzler nose and tail down in turns number 3 and 4. Here we come. One more time around. And Jeff Hetzler knows it's time to go racing. Hetzler down to the inside. Decker up on the outside, the Browse Motorsports 702 car down the back straightaway, and Decker holds on to the number 1 spot. Jeff Hetzler right there in the shadow, back there in spot number 2. Here we come on a turn number 4 this time. The checkered flags are flying, and the winner, the 74 car, Jeff Hetzler.
I didn't think he had it. Okay. All right, 4. Hetzler. Give the Hetzler. I didn't think he had it. All right, go. Get one more.
Well, the winner of the Big Block Modified Dash for Cash brought to us by Pat Barrett Racing Automatics. It's Jeff Hetzler grabbing it just by a nose over Chuck McKee. And of course, Chuck putting on the best show of the evening out here in that Dash for Cash with Hetzler right there in his tail and was the whole length long. The winner of the 74, Jeff Hetzler. Jeff, and probably was one of the toughest 4 laps you ever ran out here at the Orange County Speedway. McKee really giving you a run for your money out here tonight, and did you realize you had to win when you came across the line?
Oh yeah, I noticed I was alongside him coming out of 4, and I had about a half a car, I figured, but either way, it was real close.
So the Big Block feeling good out here tonight, and it's time for a feature win now for the Ford power plant.
Well, I tell you, we're a little overdoing it. Sorry, last week would have been a good one to move in on Brett a little bit, but now I got to struggle for second, so we're going to hammer down second and make sure we get that.
And how about the Sunoco racing fuel? You're running Sunoco in the fuel cell.
Oh, we sure are. We run that all season. They're a proud sponsor of ours.
Well, that's an additional $300 out here tonight for Jeff Hetzler and Pat Barrett. Going to congratulate Jeff right now. Chuck McKee, I'll tell you what, you put on one of the toughest fights out here in the whole race long, and Jeff Hetzler was real strong on you. But when it came across the line, he was just a couple of feet in front of you.
Yeah, 2 feet cost a couple bucks.
I'll tell you what, the 702 looking very strong out here tonight, and it should be a real good event now for feature event time.
We'll see. There's a lot of time between now and then.
Okay, so Chuck McKee coming home to a very close second spot in the Brels Racing 702 car. Frank Chazambowski, the Budget Beverages number 88 car, you stay back there in 3rd spot just to watch those 2 guys outrun each other, and maybe going to do a little bit more wrench turning for feature event time?
Well, I hope so, because we're still developing a little bit of push in the car, so my object wasn't to run 3rd, but you kind of take what you can get. But we'll change the car a little bit, and hopefully in the future we'll be a little more competitive.
Just a little bit more homework, and that might put you up front for feature event time. Chris Tunnell, the JC Dyno 7M car, you look real good out there in a heat win earlier, and you sort of held back and you watched all these guys out here tonight.
Yeah, we went with our feature tires, just knowing it wasn't going to win the dash, but just want to get these things scuffed in and see how they're going to go, and they'll be good for 30 laps.
So that's the kind of tire that comes alive after 10 or 15 laps?
You got it.
Okay, so you got your strategy all planned tonight, and Pat Barrett, he's got the... Okay, thank you very much, Rick. And of course, this is the final chance at getting a starting spot in tonight's 30-lap feature event. We're set to go racing right now down there in turn number 4. Here they come, motoring on to turn number 4. The green flag flies, and we go racing. Toby Tobias Jr., the Romeo Automotive, 44 car, grabbing the number 1 spot. Ralph Petzler on the outside, the Pat Barrett Transmissions, number 92 car. Six cars qualified as 8-lap competition event. 8 cars to qualify right now as Toby Tobias Jr. comes down the home straightaway. Ralph Petzler back there in the 2nd spot. Bobby Decker is 3rd. Rich Ricky Jr. back there in spot number 4. Richie Urich back there in the number 5 spot. And Bruce Klein, the 59 car, back there in spot number 6. Here we come, motoring out of turn number 4 this time. The leader, Toby Tobias Jr., the Romeo Automotive 44 car. Tobias securing that number 1 spot. Ralph Petzler is 2nd. Rich Ricky Jr., the Pleasant Valley Ford car, making some tracks on the outside. Ricky grabs the number 3 spot. Down the back straightaway. Bobby Decker 4th. Richie Urich back there in spot number 5. Bruce Klein back in spot number 6, followed by Eddie Hunell in spot number 7. Klein, the Van Horn Racing Engines car, back there in spot number 6, and Jimmy Horton making some tracks right now up into a qualifying position. Horton running 7th, he now running 8th right now. Toby Tobias Jr. in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, holds on to the number 1 spot. Here we come, down the home straightaway this time. 4 laps down and 4 to go. Tobias, very strong, stretching out the number 1 spot. Ralph Petzler back there in the number 2 spot. Rich Ricky Jr. out of New Paltz, New York, holds on to spot number 4. Rich Urich back there in the number 5 groove. Bobby Decker running 6th. Here comes Jimmy Horton by Bruce Klein for spot number 7. Klein running back there in the number 8 spot, the Dodge Auto Body car from Bangor, Pennsylvania. Meanwhile, Toby Tobias Jr. very strong in the Romeo number 44 car. Battling going on right now for spot number 2 on the inside. It's Rich Ricky Jr. Ricky pulls out the number 2 spot down the back straightaway. Ralph Petzler back there in spot number 3. Richie Urich running back there in spot number 4. Coming up on 2 laps to go, 2 to go this time around. Toby Tobias Jr. all by his lonesome out there in the number 1 spot with a very comfortable lead over 2nd spot runner Rich Ricky Jr. 3rd spot is still Ralph Petzler, followed by Rich Urich, Bobby Decker, Jimmy Horton, and Bruce Klein. White flag comes out this time. 7 laps down, just 1 more to go. And Toby Tobias Jr. with a very convincing lead so far over 2nd spot runner Rich Ricky. Ricky back there in the number 2 booth. 3rd spot is Ralph Petzler, followed by Rich Urich and Bobby Decker. Jimmy Horton back there in the number 7 spot, followed by Bruce Klein. Getting set for the checkered flag this time. Here it comes out of turn number 4 this time. The winner, the 44 car, Toby Tobias Jr. 2nd spot, the 28, Rich Ricky Jr. 3rd place, it's going to be a close one for Ralph Petzler. Your pole sitter out here tonight for the 20-lap small block modified feature brought to us once again by Snap-on Tools and Coors Light. 3rd spot with the International Motor Plaza's number 26 machine. Chris Tuttle from here in Middletown, New York, the JC Dyno car back there on the outside of row number 2. Jimmy Johnson, the Jim Smith Chevrolet 77 car back there in spot number 5. And Joe Sarvis in the Dean Engineering car back there in spot number 2. Caution lights have now been turned out. The Fulton Chevrolet pace car pulls down to the inside. Gary Huber, the Magnum Fabrications 357 car, gets set for the start right now. Brings that field of 358 modified. Down in turns number 3 and 4. Starter Kenny Marshall looks him over real good. Green flag flies, and here we go. Gary Huber Race no time at all. Grabbing the number 1 spot. Tom Foley is second. Tommy Hall working on the outside. Back in spot number 3. Chris Tuthill comes down the backstretch right now in spot number 4. Here we come. Down in turns number 3 and 4. Tommy Hall making tracks on the outside. The Precision Alignment number 4 car. Hall looking very strong on the outside. Here comes the race leader Gary Hoover down the home straightaway. Tom Foley running second. The yellow lights come on. We got problems down in turns 3 and 4. As the Fulton Chevrolet pace car gets up to swing down to the inside. Gary Huber in the 357 car, your race leader right now with Tom Foley on the outside. Set to go back to racing, green flag style. Here they come down in turns number 3 and 4. Starter Kenny Marshall looks him over real closely. Coming out of turn number 4, we got Ralph Hetzler in trouble down the back straightaway. No. Caution light's going to come right back on around the speedway. Back up right now. He'll be moving back to the inside this time. We're all going to try and straighten them out this time. Get the restarting order all straightened back out so we can get back to green flag racing as soon as possible. And the Snap-on Tools feature event. Of course, tonight's program also co-sponsored by Coors Light. Set to go racing as the Fulton Chevrolet pace car drops down to the inside. Here we come, out of turn number 4 this time. Green flag flies, Hemmings go down, we go back to racing. Tom Foley, the International Motor Plaza's car slams turn number 1 off very hard. After the initial restart of that feature. On his own power. So good news coming from turns 1 and 2 right now as Tom Foley hit that turn 1 wall very, very hard. And rescue crews had to help Tom out of the car, but Tom is okay. He's looking over the car right now. One lap sign being displayed right now. The track is clear. In the inside of row number 3. Caution lights have now been turned out. We're set to go back to racing. The Fulton Chevrolet pace car back down to the inside. Gary Huber, the Magnum Fabrication 357 car, brings him down in turns number 3 and 4. They come out of turn number 4 this time. The green flag flies. The Hemmings go down. We go back to racing. Tommy Hall grabs the number 1 spot on the outside. Down in turn number 2. Huber back there, the number 2 spot. Jimmy Johnson third. Tommy Borrego down the back straightaway. We've got problems down in turn number 2. Kurt Van Duzer in the Mike McAfee Custom Built Homes number 24K car. Van Duzer sideways down there in turn number 2. And that brings out the yellow right now with 2 laps down. 2 down for Borrego. Third row, the 68 of Robbie Green and the 15 of Sean George. Caution lights have now been turned out, and a lot of smoke beginning to come out from the tail side of the number 4 car. The Fulton Chevrolet pace car lets them free down there in turns number 3 and 4. Here we come, out of turn number 4 this time, the green flag flies, and we go back to racing. The yellow lights coming back on. The yellow lights coming on as a lot of smoke came out of Tommy Hall's number 4 car. And of course, you can see the smoke coming out of it now. The yellow light's coming on. They're going to try and get Tommy Hall back into the pit area. And Starter Kenny Marshall letting Tommy Hall know right now that the yellow flag was for him, and a lot of smoke coming out from that car. Going to send him back to the pit area. Well, it puts Gary Huber back up in the number 9 at row number 3. Caution lights get turned out. We're set to go back to racing once again. The Fulton Chevrolet pace car back down to the inside. 2 laps still being complete. Huber on the inside. Johnson on the outside. They come down to turn number 4. The green flag comes on. Johnson now grabs the number 1 spot. Robbie Green down to the inside against Gary Huber. Huber works the outside well, going down the back straightaway. But Robbie Green, the TNT Ignitions car, looking for spot number 2. Jimmy Johnson takes him down in 3 and 4 right now. Robbie Green is second. Gary Huber back there in that number 3 spot. Johnson comes down the home straightaway. John Parango back there in the number 4 spot. Steve Todd looking up to the outside right now. Spot number 5. Johnson holds on to the lead, motoring down the back straightaway. Stretches out the number 1 spot. Robbie Green back there in the number 2 spot. Tom Perego. Perego drops down to the inside, that 3rd spot. Steve Dodd, the pit stop bar and grill. Ralph Plumbing Supply, 22 car. He's through a battle right now for spot number 4 with Gary Huber. Huber on the outside, Dodd on the inside. Spot number 4 going up for grabs. Rich Ricky Jr. finds the bottom side open. 3 abreast down the back straightaway. As Rich Ricky Jr. takes over spot number 4. Steve Dodd back there in spot number 5. Here comes Brent Hahn on the inside. Hearn makes a break right now on the inside of Steve Dodd, looking for spot number 5. Jimmy Johnson holds on to the lead. Robbie Green is second. 3rd spot, Tom Perego, followed by Rich Ricky and Brent Hearn. Sean George heads back into the pit area right now. Flat tire on the number 15 car. Jimmy Hauser, problems down in turn number 2. That brings out the yellow lights. Yellow lights come on. 6 laps now being complete. The yellow coming out for Jimmy Hauser. Fulton Chevrolet pace car moves back down to the inside. Jimmy Johnson takes over the pacing duties right now. The Jim Smith Chevrolet car. Here we come out of turn number 4. Green flag flies. We go back to racing. Rich Ricky Jr. looking down to the inside on Robbie Green for spot number 2. Jimmy Johnson holds on to the lead. We've got problems down in turn number 2. He's moving away to his own power. Everett Halbrick regains the handle and holds on to it. Jimmy Johnson holds on to the lead. Here comes Rich Ricky Jr. on the inside. The Ball Fittings car. 55 down the home straightaway in spot number 2. Brett Hearn looking down to the inside on Robbie Green for spot number 3. Hearn comes up to play for top 3 right now. Green back there in spot number 4. Steve Dodd rounds out the top 5 running order. Jimmy Johnson knows that the heat is on. Johnson rides the outside groove. Rich Ricky Jr. comes onto the inside. Ricky nose and tail right now with leader Jimmy Johnson. Johnson holds on to the number 1 box. Ricky right there like a shadow in spot number 2. Brett Hearn making tracks on the outside in 3rd spot. Robbie Green back there in spot number 4. Steve Dodd. Here comes Hearn under the inside of Ricky for spot number 2. Brett Hearn working well down low. Rich Ricky Jr. trying to keep the high side alive for spot number 2, but Hearn got the runner-up position all sewed up. Here we come down the home straightaway. Hearn looks up to the outside, but the yellow lights are going to come on. Yellow lights come out. Yellow car heading back to the pit area right now. Double file restart. 1 lap before the halfway mark. Jimmy Johnson on the inside. Brett Hearn on the outside. Here we come. Down in turns number 3 and 4. Starter Kenny Marshall got a green flag up in the air. Back to racing time. And Hearn looking for the lead on the outside. Brett Hearn wastes no time at all grabbing the number 1 spot. Jimmy Johnson second, but here comes Rich Ricky Jr. on the inside. Ricky down low looking for spot number 2 against Jimmy Johnson down the back straightaway. Robbie Green back there in the number 4 spot, and Chris Tuthill rounds the top 5 order right now. Coming out of turn number 4, the new race leader, Brett Hearn, the Freightliner, drops a Newberg. Rich Ricky Jr. back there in the 2nd spot. Jimmy Johnson still running in 3rd. Here comes Robbie Green on the inside, the TNT car, but the yellow lights coming on. Ricky Jr. second. Robbie Green is third. Jimmy Johnson fourth. Chris Tuthill back there in spot number 5. Mike Rickey then sixth. Steve Dodd seventh. Tom Perego eighth. As the Fulton Chevrolet pace car sets them loose once again down there in turns number 3 and 4. Brett Hearn brings him down on a turn number 4 this time. The green flag flies. We go back to racing. Hearn to the outside. And Rich Rickey Jr. back there in spot number 2. Robbie Green is third. Jimmy Johnson back there in spot number 4. Chris Tuthill fifth. And Mike Rickey working well on the outside with the Duchess. Overhead doors number 87 car. Down the home straightaway. Brett Hearn wasting no time at all. Stretching out the number 1 spot. Rich Rickey Jr. with hopes on the inside. Rickey holds on to the inside line. Robbie Green still back there in spot number 3. Mike Rickey, the Duchess, overhead door number 87 car, tries to make a break into the top 5 on the outside. Rickey on the outside, Tuthill on the inside. Wheel to wheel right now for spot number 5. Mike Rickey now makes a break into the top 5, but the yellow lights come on. Yellow lights come on for the number 25 of Howie Finch, safely making his way back to the pit area right now. 12 laps have now been complete, 12 down and 8 to go.
I got my name on this car. What do you think of how many of you guys drink now? Nobody's making a truck.
Caution lights get turned out and the Fulton Chevrolet pace car pulls down to the inside. Well, it's going to be a no-go. It's going to be a no-go as Ray Stewart having trouble down there along the back straightaway. Yeah, back there in the number 2 spot with the fall fittings car. Fulton Chevrolet pace car back down to the inside. 8 more times around for the 20-lap feature event brought to us once again by Snap-on Tools and Coors Light. Here we come on a turn number 4 this time. Green flag comes out and we're back to racing. Hearn wastes no time at all, moving back up to the outside line. Mike Rickey making some very fine moves on the outside, making a break up to the number 4 spot. Mike Rickey in that Duchess, overhead door number 87 car, keeps it up to the outside line right now. Looks over the 68 car, Robbie Green. Green holds on to the 3rd spot. Race leader Brett Hearn comes down the home straightaway this time. Rich Rickey Jr. back there in spot number 2. Robbie Green is third. Mike Rickey on the outside in spot number 4. Jimmy Johnson, the 77 car, back there in spot number 5. Steve Dodd and Chris Tuthill back in spots number 6 and 7. Mike Rickey making moves on the inside this time against Robbie Green. Green caught on the outside, battling for spot number 3. Hearn holds on to the lead right now. Robbie Green holds on to the number 3 spot. Coming up on 5 laps to go. 5 to go this time around, and Brett Hearn secures that number 1 spot. Hearn looks down to the inside, coming out of turn number 4 this time. 2nd spot still, the number 55, Rich Rickey Jr. 3rd place, the number 87, Mike Rickey. Back there in spot number 4, the 68 car, Robbie Green, followed by the 77, Jimmy Johnson. Time winding down right now, back there in the number 1 spot as Brett Hearn holds on to a very comfortable lead over 2nd spot runner Rich Rickey Jr. Rickey in that Paul Fittings Fabrication 55 machine. Back there in the number 2 spot, Mike Rickey, the brother, right there in 3rd place. Robbie Green back there in spot number 4. Jimmy Johnson rounds out the top 5 running order. Chris Tuthill back there in spot number 6. Stevie Botcher, Stevie Dodd side by side for spot number 7. Dominating this feature event so far with a very nice lead over 2nd spot runner Mike Rickey. But the yellow lights coming out. Two to go this time around, and Hearn holds on to the lead. Rickey back there in that 2nd spot. Mike Rickey still 3rd. Robbie Green back in spot number 4. Robbie Green, the TNT car, dropping off the pace right now. The white flag coming out and something wrong with Robbie Green. Green going to try and manhandle home. A top 5 finish, but he's now out of the top 5. White flag coming out. Last lap around, and Brett Hearn heads down in turns number 3 and 4. Here it comes out of turn number 4 this time. The winner, the Snap-on Tools 20-lap feature event, the number 6 of Brett Hearn. Second spot, the 55, Rich Rickey Jr. Third, the 87 of Mike Rickey. Fourth place coming down the straightaway this time, the 77 of Jimmy Johnson. And fifth place, the 7M of Chris Buthill. From Snap-on Tools coming out to congratulate Brett Hearn with a low-profile creeper. Brett, an outstanding job. It certainly didn't take you long to come up through the pack out there tonight.
Just be a little cautious in the beginning there and step it up a notch when things spread out a little bit. That was pretty much the game plan.
So the small block modified running peak performance out there, and the folks from Snap-on Tools, well, they got a nice low-profile creeper to help you out.
Well, that's great. We appreciate Snap-on support here tonight, and Pete's guy that services our shop, so I'm sure he's glad that we're in the winner's circle here tonight. I'd like to take just 1 minute to dedicate this race to Jack Drobot, Mr. Drobot, George Drobot, whose son Jack works on our crew here and works real hard, and especially takes care of this car here. I'd like to dedicate this race to him. He passed away this week.
Okay, thank you very much, Brett Hearn, the winner of the 20-lap small block modified feature event. And get out those 50-50 tickets. We got some Tow Bash, Sports Warehouse number 14 car, starting in the top 5. Hallie Finch out of Haynesville, New Jersey, in the Holland Racing number 25 car, outside row number 3. Carl Pittenger from Mount Hope, New York, the S&E Auto Body car, back there in spot number 7 with car number Circle K. Chris Tuthill from right here in Middletown, New York, that JC Dyno 7M car on the outside in row number 4. One lap sign being displayed. They'll be looking for the green flag, and the next time around, 30 laps, 28 cars, the big block modified feature event. Caution lights have now been turned out. The Fulton Chevrolet pace car getting set to swing down to the inside. 30 lap, big block modified feature now on tap. Robbie Green, the Green Machine, 69, your pole sitter. He comes out of turn number 4 this time. They look for the green flag. Here we come out of turn number 4 this time. Green to the inside, Hagel on the outside. The green flag flies, and here we go. Robbie Green, glad for number 1 spot. Frank Jazombowski down to the inside. Frankie J, the 88 car. Look out for Carl Van Horn. Yellow light's going to come on. We got problems down there in turn number 2. In a proper restarting order right now, Robbie Green, your pole sitter, down the back straightaway. Fulton Chevrolet pace car back down to the inside. Caution lights get turned out. Race safe systems get turned off. Robbie Green takes that field. The big block modifies. Down in turns number 3 and 4. Here we come. On to turn number 4 this time. The green flag flies. We go back to racing. Frank Jazombowski, that budget privileges 88 car, puts up the fight this time against the Green Machine, but Robbie Green pulls out of turn number 2 right down the number 1 spot. Green takes him down the back straightaway. Jazombowski back there in spot number 2. Tommy Hager putting up the fight for 3rd spot on the inside. Hager down low in the 43H car, holds on to the number 3 position. Down the home straightaway, and they motored his car back there on the inside of spot number 3 and Sean George. George puts up the fight for the number 3 spot. Robbie Green holds on to the lead just by a whisker, coming out of turn number 4 up on the high side. Bruce Klein got himself a flat tire, heading down in turn number 1. Side by side, they battle it out for the lead right now. Down in turns number 3 and 4. Frank Jezembowski, Robbie Green, nose and tail coming down the home straightaway. Robbie Green holds on to the horsepower up there in the number 1 spot. Frank Jezembowski back there in the number 2 spot. Hager is third right now. Dwayne Howard on the inside for spot number 4 against Sean George. George rides the high side down the back straightaway. Kelly Finch back there in the 25 car. Right now battling for spot number 6. Heavy Cobb out of turn number 4 this time. Robbie Green holds on to the lead. Frank Jezembowski is second. Tom Hager third. Dwayne Howard on the inside for spot number 4. Sean George back in spot number 5. Green and Jezembowski, nose and tail down the back straightaway. Robbie Green, the Green Machine, that tops electrical contractor car. And Green holds on to the fight right now. Jezembowski puts it on the edge. Back there in the number 2 spot. Green drops down to the inside. Jezembowski pays attention back there in spot number 2. Dwayne Howard racing by on the inside of Tom Hager for spot number 3. Hager now back to spot number 4. And Sean George rounds out the top 5 running order. Robbie Green knows that the battle is on. Frank Jezembowski, the Hollywood Express, right back there in the runner-up spot. Green on the inside, Jezembowski on the outside. Howard holds on to third. Hager still fourth. George back there in the number 5 spot. Nose and tail, bumper to bumper down the back straightaway. Robbie Green knows that the heat is on. Robbie Green looks down to the inside this time. Frank Jezembowski works well on the inside groove as well. Jezembowski, that budget beverages car, keeping eye on Robbie Green, the number 1 man right now, down in turns number 1 and 2. Dwayne Howard still back there in the number 4 spot. Tommy Hager back in spot number 5. Sean George back in spot number 6. Jeff Hetzler, Chris Tunwell, and Brett Hearn trying to make a break into the top 5 running order. 3 cars running back there in spot number 6. Robbie Green trying to stretch out the number 1 spot over Frank Jezembowski. Dwayne Howard still up there in the number 3 spot. Tommy Hager fourth. Sean George back in spot number 5, but here comes Jeff Hetzler on the inside. Hetzler, the Ford power plant, the Smith Brothers car, now makes a break for the top 5 running order. Sean George back there in spot number 6. Brett Hearn is currently running in spot number 7. Robbie Green, very consistent so far, pacing himself down the back straightaway. Green very powerful on the straightaways against Frank Jezembowski. Jezembowski mastering these turns out here tonight very well. Dwayne Howard, the BRB Racing 14 machine, back there in that 3rd spot. Howard trying to close the gap right now on himself with Frank Jezembowski. Meanwhile, Jeff Hetzler makes a break down to the inside against Tommy Hager for spot number 4. Hetzler down to the inside, picks up 4th spot. Here comes Brett Hearn. Hearn back there in the number 6 spot right now. Tommy Hager in the 43H car holds on to spot number 5, but the hot shoe down to the inside. The Freightliner Express now makes a break for the top 5 running order. Hearn to the inside, picks up spot number 5. Hager now back to spot number 6. Sean George is 7th, Chris Tunwell 8th, Frank Cozy is 9th, and Howie Finch back there in spot number 10. Robbie Green holds on to the number 1 spot, but Frank Jezembowski powering very strong back there in spot number 2. Dwayne Howard catching up very quickly in the 3rd spot. Jeff Hetzler still running back in spot number 4. Brett Hearn working on the rim shot back in spot number 5. Hearn closing in very quickly on Hetzler as they move down the back straightaway. Hetzler holds on to the number 4 spot. Hearn right there like a shadow in spot number 5. Here they come on a turn number 4 this time. Robbie Green holds on to the lead. Frank Jezembowski still 2nd. Dwayne Howard back there in spot number 3. Hetzler back in spot number 4. Hearn rounds out the top 5 running order. Hearn keeps the horsepower on the outside line this time. Tries the slingshot down the back straightaway against Jeff Hetzler. Hetzler very powerful on the inside line. Holds off the hard-charging Brett Hearn. Hearn going to make his move on the outside. Down in turns number 3 and 4. Tries to pull up along the outside of Jeff Hetzler. Hetzler holds on to the 4th place battle. Hearn still back there in spot number 5. Robbie Green holds on to the lead, but Jezembowski gets the nose on the inside. Going down the back straightaway. Jezembowski and Green fighting for the number 1 spot, and Brett Hearn gets by Jeff Hetzler for spot number 4. Now the top 5 starting to bunch up very, very quickly as the halfway point comes out. Halfway this time, 15 down and 15 to go. Robbie Green knows it's no time to wait right now. The hot shoes right there behind him. Frank Jazabowski a second. Dwayne Howard third. Here comes Brett Hearn on the outside. Hearn gets by Howard right now for the third spot. Howard back to fourth. Jeff Hetzler still back in spot number 5. Brett Hearn, like a house on fire, moves to the outside line. Spot number 2 going up for grabs. And Jazabowski outpowers Brett Hearn. Jazabowski got the inside line against Robbie Green. The outside is wide open. Hearn moves to the outside for spot number 2 right now. Jazabowski back to third. Robbie Green goes, and here it comes on the outside. Brett Hearn, the Freightliner, trucks of Newburgh. Hearn looks well to the outside line. Grabs the number 1 spot away from Robbie Green. Green back there in spot number 2. Jazabowski still third. Dwayne Howard comes onto the inside line for spot number 4. Jeff Hetzler back there in spot number 5. Tommy Hager is 6th. Chris Tuthill 7th. Sean George 8th. Here comes Frank Cozy on the inside in spot number 9. And Carl Pittenger rounds out the top 10. Cozy now makes a move to the number 8 spot against Sean George. Brett Hearn, meanwhile, all Blas Lonesome. Now there in the number 1 spot. Robbie Green still second. Frank Jazabowski is third. Jeff Hetzler looks to the outside of Dwayne Howard for spot number 4. Howard on the inside. Hetzler on the outside. Hetzler very strong, grabs the number 4 spot. Dwayne Howard now back to spot number 5. Tommy Hager still motoring back in spot number 6 with a white 43H car. Brett Hearn continuing to stretch out. The number 1 spot. Robbie Green still second. Frank Jazabowski and Jeff Hetzler side by side for spot number 3. Jazabowski holds on to that number 3 spot. Hetzler back there in spot number 4, coming up on 10 laps to go, 20 down. 10 to go this time around, 2/3 the way home for Brett Hearn. Robbie Green back there in the number 2 spot. Frank Jazabowski still third. Jeff Hetzler is fourth. Dwayne Howard rounds out the top 5. Tommy Hager back at spot number 6. Chris Tuthill still 7th. Frank Cozy back there in spot number 8. Sean George is 9th. Carl Pittenger, the Circle K car, rounds out the top 10 running order. Sammy Rogers dropping off the pace down there in the turn 4 area. The yellow lights coming on. Saw Sammy Rogers, the Miller Genuine Draft number 1 car, having problems as he comes down the straightaway. Going to head back to the pit area this time. 22 down and 8 to go. Brett Hearn in the Freightliner trucks of Newburgh number 6, your current race leader. Fulton Chevrolet pace car in. We're set for green flag racing once again. Hearn wastes no time at all. Switching back out the number 1 spot. Robbie Green in second. Dwayne Howard running against Tommy Hager for spot number 5. Down the back straightaway of the motor. Jazabowski running in 3rd spot. Jeff Hetzler still 4th. And Dwayne Howard rounds out the top 5. Hager back there in the number 6 spot. Frank Cozy working on the outside at Chris Tuthill for spot number 7. Look out for Frank Cozy, but he holds on to it. Cozy straightens it back out after tapping with the JC Dino car. And Cozy back there in the number 7 spot. Tuthill is now 8th, Sean George 9th, and Carl Pittenger back in spot number 10. Cozy trying very hard to make a break into the top 5 running order before time runs out. And meanwhile, hammer down, not looking back, out of the number 1 spot. Robbie Green still back in the number 2 position. Frank Jazabowski is 3rd. Jeff Hetzler 4th. And Dwayne Howard back there in spot number 5. Coming up on 5 laps to go. 5 to go this time around for race leader Brett Hearn. Hearn holds on to that number 1 spot. He continues to stretch out that lead. Robbie Green still 2nd. Frank Jazabowski, the Budget Beverages car, back there in the 3rd spot. Jeff Hetzler, that Ford power plant, holds on to spot number 4. Time to get a wind out right now for Frank Cozy, back there in the number 6 spot. Cozy going to try and make a break into that top 5 order. Got some catching up to do on Dwayne Howard, back there in the number 5 spot. brings him down the home straightaway this time. Robbie Green still second. Green back there in the number 2 spot. Jazembowski is third. Jeff Hetzler back in spot number 4. Wayne Howard back there in spot number 5. Frank Dozy 6th. Tommy Hager 7th. Chris Tuthill is 8th. Sean George in 9th. And Carl Pittenger rounds out the top 10. Coming up on 2 laps to go. 2 to go this time around for Brett Hearn. Robbie Green, that drops electrical car, still back there in spot number 2. Jazembowski, very strong, very consistent back there in the number 3 group. Jeff Hetzler back in spot number 4. White flag coming out right now as Dwayne Howard holds on to the top 5 running order. White flag comes out. One more time around for the number 6 of Brett Hearn. Robbie Green, very, very strong back there in spot number 2. Frank Jazembowski third, but he feels the heat from Jeff Hetzler. Hetzler holds on to the number 4 spot. Checkered flag getting set to fly this time. Here they are, down in turns number 3 and 4. The winner of the 30-lap big block feature event, Brett Hearn. Second spot, motoring on a turn number 4 right now, the Green Machine. Robbie Green. Third spot, Frank Jazembowski. 4th, Jeff Hetzler, followed by the 14 of Dwayne Howard. Tonight, the winner of the Big Block Modified feature event, the number 6 car, Brett Hearn. Second spot, the number 69, Robbie Green. Third, Frank Jazembowski in the 88. Fourth spot, Jeff Hetzler in car 74, followed by Dwayne Howard, rounding out the top 5 in car number 14. The steering wheel comes off, and here he is, climbing out of the car, the number 6 of Brett Hearn. Sweep out here again, and the folks from Snap-on Tools, they're out here congratulating you for the second time tonight. We understand that Pete out here is your Snap-on Tool distributor, and he must be doing a real good job keeping your mechanics supplied up there to put you in victory lane so many times.
Oh, yeah, I think we got, Charlie and Pat are probably some of his best customers. You know, we got a lot of Snap-on stuff, and, you know, it helps the guys get the job done. Obviously, the cars run good, so we'll give Pete a little credit tonight.
Well, you got a nice Snap-on tool dolly right now to keep all them tools in back there in the pit area. Congratulations once again to Brett Hearn for winning the Big Rock.